You're listening to the Wrestleview Radio Network.
Adam Martin of Wrestleview.com back with you here at the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Waterloo, Iowa. And joining me now is Mr. Brian Marshall of Rock 108, Iowa's Pure Rock.
Yeah.
And up here in Waterloo. And you've been coming to this for a couple years now. I see you interviewing the wrestlers. Obviously, you get a lot of talent from the WWE on your show when they come to town. They were just here about a month or so ago.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what this is like for you, both in the media, and you're someone who I like to say is actually a wrestling fan. You're not the person who's just sent here by the radio station to do some coverage. You actually genuinely like professional wrestling.
No, that's a great question. I got involved with the Dan Gable Wrestling Museum back when Ted DiBiase was going to go in. I saw it like in January, February. I was looking something up on the internet, and I saw that he was going to go into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Saw the name Mike Chapman. I had a little a bio that A&E had done, and Mike Chapman was involved. They had actually interviewed him at the museum in Newton. So then I called up and I said, can I speak with Mike Chapman, get involved with Kyle? Sooner than later, come July, here I've got Harley Race in my studio, and then I get the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. And the stories that those guys tell on and off the air is just amazing. Obviously, knowing when you talk to a wrestler, you get an opportunity to ask a question that, you don't want to ask what every other fan asks. You don't want to ask Mick Foley, what's it like to fall off a cage? I mean, he said that story a bajillion times.
Sure.
You want to ask Mick Foley, okay, so what do you listen to in the car when you're driving from town to town, right?
Sure.
So I've been involved with them, and they also, they want to know what the wrestling fan, because the Dan Gable Museum is primarily based in the world of amateur wrestling, but they do respect the sport of what is professional wrestling. Obviously, there is some entertainment value that's involved, but you also want to respect what these guys do as athletes. And so they come to me sometimes and say, well, would this work? Would a fan be into something like this? What if we did it this way? What if we did it this way? And I think, my help, along with a ton of other people, because they got a board of directors and everything else, I think that it's turned this weekend into something pretty huge, because, you see some of the names that are here.
Just around the corner.
Yeah. I mean, you got Jim Ross. You got Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You've got Terry Funk. I had lunch with Charlie Thesz, Lou Thesz's wife, who was
nice.
She was sharing some amazing stories of times that Lou had wrestled, these guys, and would share kind of the behind-the-scenes story. That's the stuff that I kind of live for, and that's why I kind of call this Christmas, Christmas time for me.
Yeah, it's Christmas in July. I mean, it's crazy how, we're just sitting here, and there's a bunch of legends just around the corner, and the lone wrestling fan at Rock 108, I mean, it seems that way a little bit.
The new girl that just got hired, Shannon, who does weekends and overnights, she came in, and she said that she was a huge wrestling fan. She goes, I'm such a big wrestling fan. I bet you I know more than you. I go, all right.
Okay.
How old are you again?
Sure.
Tell me about New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tell me a little bit about who wrestled around here. In Central States and stuff. She goes, oh well, stop picking on me. What movie did Hogan discover The Undertaker in? That kind of stuff.
Sure.
And she then has to bow to the master.
Well, that's what I appreciate, because a lot of the time, and I see this not just here locally, but in the media, when someone's interviewing a wrestler, they clearly have no idea. They literally, it sounds like they went on Wikipedia and typed in the person's name, and they're just reading stuff off, and you can tell when someone's a genuine wrestling fan and when someone's just doing it because they have to, because they're bringing somebody in and they got to do an interview. So that's one thing I've always appreciated about you, is you actually do take it seriously. You ask very, very good questions. You're not, like you said, what's it like to fall off a cage, Mick Foley?
Yeah.
You're actually getting some insight into the wrestlers and the legends. I want to talk about, too, just kind of the weekend that this is. I mean, you mentioned this kind of feeling like Christmas and like Christmas in July. For somebody, and this is kind of the goal that I'm doing with the video and kind of letting people know what this place is like. For somebody who has never been here, how would you describe this place to a wrestling fan who's heard about it but have never quite made that jump to come out here in the summer?
If you haven't been to the Dan Gable Wrestling Museum before and you're a pro wrestling fan, it gives you the opportunity to understand where professional wrestling came from. If all you know is the WWE or TNA as it stands today, you're missing the boat on such a rich history of what professional wrestling is all about. This Dan Gable Wrestling Museum not only shows you some championships and some boots and belts and stuff like that from days gone by, but also shows you some of the attire that they wore. So that's kind of the cool stuff that you see inside the George Tragos Lou Thesz Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame wing. But then when you get the guys in here and they tell the stories, you're not going to be able to hear these for much longer. I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but a guy like some of the older guys just won't be with us anymore, or they can't travel anymore.
Sure.
Vern Gagne was here a few years ago.
Yeah.
AWA guy, and can't make that traveling anymore.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
And this gives you the opportunity to rub shoulders with them, shake their hands in a very relaxed environment. We kind of talked about this when we met earlier. You can't do that at a WWE event.
No.
Because 8,000 other people want to do it, and they want you to sign everything, including their baby's forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little annoying.
Come on over here. This little
Sam armpit.
Yeah. I got this tattoo right here, and it's the most amazing thing in the world. I want you to sign it so that I can have a tattoo.
I love how we're in Iowa and we're totally setting the stereotype for it, but I mean, it's kind of,
easy there.
Easy there, filler.
Easy there.
But it happens. But yeah, but this is just a fun moment, and like I said, I appreciate. Obviously, I'm an avid listener to Rock 108, but the one thing that I've really, I could tell right away when someone's talking about wrestling, because I'm just so huge into this, obviously with Wrestleview.com, and kind of tell when someone's, doing the BS line of, oh, well, he's coming to town and we're going to talk to him. And I can tell you sounded like a genuine wrestling fan, so I always appreciated that. And thank you so much. I know you've been busy, doing interviews and stuff like that all day and kind of hanging out, but thank you so much for...
I got my got my magazine signed by Hacksaw Jim Duggan, got a tough guy out of him. And
nice.
When you see these guys that are on the movies and stuff,
absolutely.
You get the chance to sit down with them. It's like, wow.
It's a dream come true. And it's such an intimate setting, too. That's what's so great about this.
Absolutely.
You're not sitting behind a barricade, and everybody's very, very accessible. So that's one thing I've really always enjoyed about this. So Brian Marshall, Rock 108, you can check him out. I believe rock108.com is the website.
Correct.
So if you're not an Iowan, you can still check out his show. And it's a great radio station. I believe it's the number one, if I'm not mistaken, in the Eastern Iowa side. He's doing the oh well, we're not really sure. But,
no.
He's being very humble right now.
We may be the main event, but everybody on the undercard needs.
I'm gonna get killed for saying that, by the way, because I go on the other station quite a bit, so they're gonna kill me for that. But it's just a fact. So.
No, hey, you know what? Everybody needs some time to. I appreciate if you listen to the radio station. I appreciate that you listen to our radio station, and I hope that anybody that like you said, I do give wrestlers the time of day. I give everybody the time of day. I that's one of the things I really enjoy about working at the radio station is I get opportunities to interview a ton of different people, and it's one of the things I pride myself on.
Absolutely. So he's Brian Marshall of Rock 108. Check out rock108.com. Thank you so much, Priya. Very, very appreciate it. I know it's a crazy day, so thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.